Right, this is your IA number 1, subpart 1. It's the writing section, so you're getting the hardest part done first. If you need a little break or have a question, you can pause the video at any time and ask your teacher. Remember, since it's the writing part, you're getting graded on your essay, but you're also going to get graded on your annotations that you make and your genre-based thinking jobs that you write. So annotations and genre-based thinking jobs. Testing strategies won't be until tomorrow. All right, you guys are going to do great. Read the passage and write a response to the writing prompt. Remember, you're going to annotate too. Passage 1. Excerpt from Looking at Mushrooms by Cheryl Bardot. Equipped with a magnifying glass, pocket knife, and fishing tackle box, mushroom scientist Greg Mueller is going on a treasure hunt. I never know what I might find, he says, striking out along a woodland path at the Chicago Botanic Garden in Illinois. And what I find today may be different 4 days from now. After decades as a mycologist, a scientist who studies fungi, Mueller knows that mushrooms are here today, gone tomorrow treasures. He jokes about becoming a geologist someday because rocks never move. But he isn't really discouraged. He knows that forests are full of fungi. In fact, the world is full of fungi. A world of fungi. Fungi take many forms. They include the yeast that makes holes in bread as it rises, the fuzzy mold that warns us not to eat an old jar of spaghetti sauce, smelly mildew, and the mushrooms that pop up overnight from the forest floor. For many years, scientists thought fungi were plants because they didn't move, and many sprouted from soil. Unlike plants, however, fungi cannot make their own food. The cells of fungi are also unlike plants. Their cell walls are made from chitin, the same stuff that forms the hard outer shells of insects and crabs. A comparison of their genetic material reveals that fungi are more closely related to animals than to plants. Scientists now recognize fungi as their own kingdom of organisms, neither plants nor animals. They believe that fungi are far more diverse than plants or any group of animals except insects. And they estimate that up to 1.5 million species of fungi may exist. With only about 100,000 known so far, that leaves room for lots of future discoveries. Searching for the invisible. While keeping a hopeful eye on the forest floor, Mueller explains that fungi are often present even when we don't see them. Fungi grow in hair-like threads called hyphae. These strands spread through soil, rotting wood, or wherever a fungus seeks food and water and food. A single strand is too small to see with the naked eye, but Mueller points out white spots on a fallen tree where many have massed together, creating a visible web called a mycelium. Soon we spot our first clump of mushrooms hiding beneath the leaves. Mueller carves off the dainty brownish-orange specimens to store in his collecting box. Like apples on a tree, mushrooms are fruiting bodies of the mycelium. They release spores, cells that float away to create new fungi. Fruiting fungus bodies wait patiently underground for just the right combination of moisture and temperature to make their debut. When conditions are right, Mueller says, mushrooms swell with water like a water balloon. That gives them the pressure to burst out of the ground. Mushrooms can expand quickly, sometimes with enough force to push up through asphalt and cement. Then they release their spores and may disappear again within a few days. A single mushroom can release millions, even trillions of microscopically tiny spores, which are carried off by the wind or by animals. So why isn't the earth overrun by fungi? Unlike the seeds of flowering plants, spores aren't packed with their own food. To grow, they have to land in just the right place, on something they are able to break down for food. How fungi function. All fungi play one of 3 roles. Some are decomposers, some form partnerships with living plants, and some are parasites. Most fungi we happen to see on our walks, such as tiny yellow fairy cups and the meaty chicken of the woods, are breaking down dead plant matter, recycling its nutrients back into the soil. As fungal hyphae spread through a fallen tree to gather food, they destroy the stiff cell walls of the wood, making the nutrients inside available. Mueller breaks a chunk of decaying wood from a tree, and it almost crumbles to sawdust in his fingers. That's a sign that fungi have done their work. We'd have piles of dead trees miles high if we didn't have fungi, he says. We wouldn't even be able to walk around the earth because of all the dead trees. All right, before you read passage 2, go ahead and pause the video and write your genre-based thinking job in this blank spot on your paper. You got this. All right, passage 2, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to listen and pause whenever you need to annotate, and then you're going to write a genre-based thinking job at the end. We are getting closer and closer to the finish. Passage 2, Talented Fungi by Charlene Brusso. Mushrooms, molds, lichens, yeast, and mildews. There are at least 1.5 million different kinds of fungi on Earth. What can we do with all that fungus among us? Eat them. Mushrooms are the fruit of underground fungi, and like other fruits, many are good to eat. In fact, Americans gobble up about 4 pounds of mushrooms per person each year. Mushrooms are a nutritious food, high in proteins and vitamins. Forest animals like mushrooms too. They are a favorite of chipmunks, squirrels, mice, voles, bears, insects, and salamanders. Some fungi are used to make food better. Yeast is a single-celled fungus that gives off bubbles of carbon dioxide gas as it digests sugar. Yeast at work in dough gives us light and fluffy bread, and it puts the fizz in beer. Archaeologists in Egypt have found 4,000-year-old pots with telltale traces of yeast in them. In Asia, yeast are used to ferment soybeans to make soy sauce and miso. Tasty fungi are also used to flavor cheeses like brie, blue, and roquefort. Cure sickness. One of the most useful medicines in the world comes from a mold, another type of fungus. Discovered on a neglected petri dish in 1928, penicillin was the first antibiotic, a drug that kills bacteria and knocks out tough infections. Why would a mold be good at killing bacteria? In the wild, fungi often compete with bacteria for food. To discourage competition, many fungi make bacteria-killing chemicals. In fact, long before scientists discovered penicillin, doctors in ancient Egypt used moldy bread to fight infection in wounds. Molds and other fungi are used to make vitamins, painkillers, and many other helpful medicines, even some that fight cancer. Make stuff. Long ago, cloth makers in the Mediterranean discovered that lichen could dye fabric in vibrant purples and reds. Many Native Americans also use lichen for dye. As they grow, fungi break down food outside their bodies using special digestive chemicals called enzymes. Enzymes that digest fats are harvested from molds and used to make detergents and laundry soaps. Fungi enzymes are also used to fade jeans for a stylish, distressed look. Even the citric acid that gives juice, soda, and sauces their lemony tang is cooked up using enzymes from a common black mold, Aspergillus niger. The dense root webs of fungi, called mycelia, are excellent for holding things together. One company is growing mycelia around corn husk and straw to make Eco Cradle, an earth-friendly replacement for styrofoam. Like styrofoam, Eco Cradle is lightweight. Unlike styrofoam, it's also strong, biodegradable, recyclable, and can be easily grown in any shape you need. It can be used for packing materials and even house insulation. And Ford Motor Company is investigating ways to use Eco Cradle in its cars and trucks. Clean up pollution. Fungi are decomposers. In nature, they break down the large molecules in dead trees, plants, and animals, leaving the soil full of recycled nutrients. That may not seem very remarkable until you realize there's a fungus that can break down nearly anything. One of the most amazing ways to use fungi's decomposing abilities is to help clean up pollution. Some fungi, including the common oyster mushroom, have digestive powers that can break apart nasty chemicals like pesticides, oil, and tar in soil and water into simple, safe compounds like carbon dioxide, water, and nitrogen. Some scientists, such as mushroom researcher Paul Stamets, think that planting fungi may be the perfect way to clean up polluted sites quickly and cheaply. Some fungi can even digest radioactive toxic waste. Fungi are among the most ancient organisms on the planet, but we're only just beginning to discover their many remarkable talents. You're going to click pause on the video and write your genre-based thinking job in this blank space. When you're ready, you can click play and I'll read you the writing prompt. Writing prompt. Both authors describe the remarkable characteristics of fungi. Write an argumentative essay arguing which author is more successful at portraying these characteristics. Develop your essay by providing textual evidence from both passages. Manage your time carefully so that you can plan your essay, write your essay. Be sure to include a claim, use evidence from both passages, and avoid over-relying on one passage. Your written response should be in the form of a multi-paragraph essay. Write your response to the writing prompt in the space provided in your answer document. So you can plan your essay in this blank spot, but then you're going to start writing your essay on the lined pages. I'm going to read the prompt one more time for you. Both authors describe the remarkable characteristics of fungi. Write an argumentative essay arguing which author is more successful at portraying these characteristics. Develop your essay by providing textual evidence from both passages. You have the rest of class to complete this. You guys are going to do awesome. If you have a question or need help, make sure to raise your hand and one of your teachers will help you. You got this.